Check out this picture. What does it do to you? What does it make you see? Do you see the illusion? Yes, it does. It shows us an optical illusion. And what is this? This is something that we're going to talk today. This is the new weekly lesson that I'm adding to my channel, and today is excuses and procrastination. And your excuses and all the excuses that are followed or preceded by the word but are just an optical illusion. It's something that keeps you away from your goal. It's your inside limiting beliefs. It's your avoidance of proceeding and doing something. It's procrastination and time spent on the right things instead of your goal. So an optical illusion usually makes us think of something that it's in 3D, but it's not in 3D, it's in 2D. So our eyes and the way we perceive the world around us is usually in 3D. And when we see a paper like this, that's 2D, our brain is trying to just add more actions or more sense to what it's seeing, and that's why we can see all these moving lines and gives us an illusion. And same with excuses and procrastination and the use of word but or I don't know. They all are just fillers, they're not real things as much as we want to believe in them as real, and they're just filling in the reasoning why we're not achieving our goal or why we're not doing something. So each time when you say a but or I can do it, it's probably, or I didn't have time to do it, it's probably making you pile on top of each other actions that you are supposed to do, but you're avoiding to do them, and that causes stress. And stress is also caused by procrastination because you have a last moment, you're waiting for the last moment to do that. And usually when someone says but, it's most likely they're trying to avoid something. They maybe don't know how it's going to result, what it's going to be their life like, or is it really important. Maybe they don't really know if that's important for them too. So you have to start saying no to your but excuses, in the sense that you have to be, no, I'm going to do it. Try to do it instead of finding an excuse why you're not doing it. And the most common buts or excuses when we try to achieve something is I really want to do it, but it's too hard, but it's too risky, but it will take too long, but I'm so overwhelmed and I don't have time. So all of these we're going to discuss right now, and you'll see that they are not as real as we might have it in our mind. So let's start with number one. I want to do it, but it's too hard. So how do you know it's too hard? Have you done it before? Because you haven't done it before, you cannot know it's too hard. But if you had done it before, then you know it's not as hard as you might think. So that's why it goes under the excuse, and you shouldn't rely on it. You should see if it's something feels to you too hard. It means that you don't know something about that thing, or it's emotionally challenging for you to pursue it. So if you don't know something, about your thing that you think it's hard, you should learn, you should research, you should ask questions, and that will get you to be familiar with the topic and the process. And if it's emotionally challenging to handle, then you need to prepare yourself, and you can talk to other people who know about this or are experts on this, or read, as we said, read and get yourself familiar and picture in your mind how is it going to be to do it and what's going to happen after you've done it. And if it's too hard, well, have you done any hard things before? Did you survive them? Obviously, we did so many, every one of us has done so many things that were hard, and we were thinking that we were maybe terrified. And for me personally, driving in the snow, it's like, but when I done it, I know I can do it. I just don't want it. And I do use excuses for that because I'm scared. I'm emotionally scared to drive in snow. So same with every single thing you want to try to do, It's most of the time it's just in your mind. You're just either emotionally scared of it, or you don't know all the information you need to know in order to proceed with that thing. And when you believe something is too hard, challenge your view by asking, is this really hard? Is there another reason why am I avoiding doing it? What do I need to know to make it easier? And what is the reason why I am creating these excuses? And do I really want to do it? And if we start to actually debunk our excuses or our the topic of being scared or something being too hard, then we can see it's not as hard as we are making it in our mind. The next one is but it's too risky. And if you see here, I have a picture of a skydiver. And the reason is that there are very few things in life that are truly, truly hard, and most of them are not as hard as we think, or can be easier if we actually can find a way to be prepared for them, or to learn how to do them step by step, or gain practice. And an example is skydiving. So if, for example, I would go right now and just jump with a parachute from a plane by myself without training, without knowing anything about the wind, about the how it, like, the knowledge of experience, then it's probably pretty stupid to do that, and I should be scared. But if, for example, I'm driving with someone professional who has a training, if I have the professional training and have practiced for quite a while, and I know what I'm doing, and I know the wings, and I know when to do it, when not to do it, what to pull, what not to pull, how to my body should be behaving while I'm in the air, then obviously it's not as scary or as hard as I might think. So you see, when you have the knowledge and the practice, it's something that it's not too risky, versus when you don't know anything and you just think in your head that it's hard and you cannot do it, or it's too risky. So having knowledge is actually making everything more easier for you to understand, and also can help you be more willing to do something that seems too risky to yourself. So when you want to do anything and it feels risky to you, you need to remember that whatever you're doing, you can take the risk out of it. You can dissect the risk out of it by education, by learning, by talking to people who can help you with that, by practicing, and by doing anything that you need to do in order to see that there is not as much risk as you might think in it. And there will be risky things in life, yes, because progress is actually considers of risking something. You're risking your comfort zone, or you're risking something to get better. So any progress you want to do is going to include some type of risk, but it's not the risk of as much as you might I don't know, to numb you. It's more of a risk that you need to understand and learn about, and then you can do that thing. But yes, risk is something that's part of our life and progressing and growing. So when you think about something that is too risky, it's very good for you to think in these two categories. And it means, are you really afraid of a risk, or you're afraid of failure? And um, are you afraid of the risk or the changes that will come with the risk? Or are you afraid of people judging you? That's very important, because sometimes we do things not because they're risky, but because of the emotions that are related to it as a result of what we did. And then when you stay there and you reason behind what you're feeling like, then you see the steps that you should take in order to feel it more easier, or not to think that it's so risky. And number three is called number three and third excuse, it will take too long. And that's just silly. And I'll give you an example. For example, I want to go ahead and take a degree that will last 5 years, and I'm thinking, oh my god, 5 years, in 5 years I'll be, let's say, 55 years old. But what if I don't take that class or that degree? I don't do it. How old am I gonna be in 5 years? Still 55. So if I do it or I don't do it, it's still 5 years will pass, and you might want to choose, or might want to choose to actually do something. So there's an improvement or something achieved at the end of 5 years. So this is the way you need to think. You need to think like, is it too long for real? Won't the time pass? How hard it will be to actually accomplish this in this time? um, because there's time when you sit and you think like, oh my god, another year passed, and you could have done some type of something in this year, but instead you're still in the same space where you were. And that's why um, choosing to do something that's worth it's better than just, like, for example, spending time partying or maybe watching TV. And nothing wrong with that, as long as it's in balance instead of overtaking over important things. So number four, or the fourth excuse is, but I'm so overwhelmed. What does overwhelmed means? It means you're trying to actually take more onto you than you can handle. How there's a saying that, oh, you're trying to bite off more than you can chew. So, and that means that when you think about your plans and goals, that if you're overwhelmed, you either think too big or too small. And too big is when you think in 5 years. So, for example, this is your goal for 5 years, and you say, I need to do this to get to the 5 years mark, and then I'll see the big picture of the big transformation. And you're thinking, oh my god, I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this, but meanwhile I have to do that and that and that. It makes you overwhelmed because you think of everything at one time in one big chunk. And when you think too small, it's like you thinking about about every single change, every single step you have to do, like every single detail. And let's say you want to go to a gym, and you're thinking, okay, I have to work from this time to this time, then I have to do dinner, I have to do this. So I have to do my gym time in the morning. Oh, but it's too dark in the morning, it's too cold in the morning. What if I have to go to work? I have to take another shower, or I have to change, I have to do this. Or you say, for example, but if I do it after work, then it will mess up everyone's schedule. It will do this and do that and do that. Oh, and what if I go to a party? Oh, I have to come home again and take another shower and get again ready. So then you are just, thinking of everything too small. And sometimes you need to let go of things. Yes, you have plans, and yes, sometimes you'll have to go to a party and take an extra shower. But that's how it is. That's how it works, and it's not something that you should make a stop on it because of a small detail. So thinking too big or too small, it's really, really, really not the best thing. So to be motivated when you think that something is too overwhelming, you need to write down the reason why you want to do it, write down the steps, and take one step at a time. The number 5 excuse is, but I don't have time. So even though time or not having time feels like a real thing, is just an excuse, because time is an emotional perception. So let's say you like to watch movies. So when you watch movies and you're like so excited about it, 1 hour passes like there was nothing. It goes like this. And now imagine you have to go and, I don't know, garden, and you don't like gardening. And 1 hour will pass like forever. You're like going to be checking your time. You're like, oh my god, it's still going on. I don't want to do it. And it's gonna be very hard. So you see, when you like something, you do it and you don't see the time pass. But when you don't like something, you find all the reasons not to do it, makes you very, very tired, and you try not to do it. So this is just your emotional perception of what's happening. And yes, you might not have time because you have to do all these chores, but also you can find time by checking out what you're spending your time on. And sometimes what affects the time is not necessarily how we think of time, but how important things are to us, or how afraid we are of the things we want to do. And the big question is, are you making time for what is not important? And then you're trying to tell yourself that you don't have time for what's important. And A very good quote is to remember is that everybody finds time for what's important to them, and if it's not important, they won't find and won't make time. So you have to find and make time for what's important to you. And for example, do you have time for watching TV, Facebook, Instagram, any other social media, playing games? Then in that case, you need to be very honest with you, because you find time for wasting it, but you don't find time for doing something that improves your life or something that's important. So you need to be honest with yourself. Why do I let these unimportant things to actually waste my time? Why do I'm okay to scroll down on the screen of the phone for hours instead of doing this? What's the reason behind it? And what are you afraid of? Are you afraid if you do some changes today for your big plan that it's gonna mess up your life because you'll have to do adjustments and people might not like you and schedules are getting messed up? Or what you're afraid of? Or people will judge you maybe? So you have to actually allow yourself to find time for what's important, and then put all these unimportant things on secondary where you can do it later. I'll tell you an example. I deleted all my social media, so I have only YouTube right now, and life became very easy for a while. Like before I had my YouTube channel, I really, first I was paranoid because I wanted to scroll. I needed to post something, post, and then after a while, it just opened the gates for me. I all of a sudden had time to do this and that, and I don't miss it as I thought I will. I was thinking and looking at that before I deleted it. I was thinking and looking, and it's like most, like, I don't know, people just go and like and everything that's something it's not important or something that they can fight about. It was a waste of time. So right now I feel a lot more better without having social media. If I'm interested, I can scroll on my husband's social media so I can see what's happening to our friends and everything. But other than that, I don't need the time to be wasted on that. I do something different that's fulfilling for myself. So each time you have a but after a thing you are supposed to do, that's a sign that you need to do a deep work inside you. You need to think more about what your bot is telling you. And bot not as in bot, but as in BET, as a phrase. So to have free time, you need to organize your time. You need to eliminate all unimportant activities, and you need to change your perspective. A daily planner is very important. If you don't like to be, let's say, attached to a notebook where you write what you're going to do every single day, you can actually just write on a sticky note. I do write on a sticky note things I have to do, and it's so much easier because I have all these sticky notes, and once I'm done, I'm just throwing it, and I cross it off, and crossing off things that you've done, it's really powerful. It gives you this feeling, yes, I've done it. So today we saw and talk about the reasons why people are procrastinating and excuses. And I hope you subscribe, like, and share. That's helping me. And I'll see you in the next one.